Hi, welcome to the Miracles and Faith channel. I am your host, Linda Kay. Today, joining me, as she has in the last few interviews, is an artist, a composer, an author, and mom. And she's my special guest because she's my mom, Lorraine Snider-Hanely. Hi, Mom.
Well, good morning.
So we've been talking about your childhood, about ancestors, about many things that give us what I would say would be our core values. What were the core values that you were raised with? And did you take those same core values and raise us with them?
One of the things that I hear the most is I must teach my children to pray, but most of all, listen. Stop and listen.
So now when you were growing up, you had family culture, you had a certain protocol. You knew that you had chores in the morning before you went to school. You knew that when you got home from school, there would be chores. And chores today are very different than they were chores back then, because we used to laugh every time that you talked about having to go and milk the cows. I can't tell you what my brothers might say or do, but we actually did laugh a lot. Yep, sure, she went to milk the cows, and she probably had to walk 2 miles to school. And every kid thinks, that their parents are slightly exaggerating, if not really grossly imagining things. But in your youth, as you start to grow up and you start to leave your youth and leave your childhood and your memories behind you, you're building new memories of your own, and you're now raising your own children. You've got 4 of us. So do you hear your mom in any of your instructions to your children?
I believe in my day that it was understood that you better listen. You got eye looks or...
Oh, wait. Everybody knows the look. Okay? You got that, right? You know the look. All you had to do was raise one eyebrow, and we knew what that look meant. Did your mother have something like that?
She had 2 eyebrows.
Oh, she raised both?
Lifted them both.
Did she have to say a word for you to know what she meant?
That's what she would go. She would clear her throat.
Okay. So now you have a few kids under your belt, and you're raising kids. You're in your mid-20s. You're now supervising the kids and maybe even refereeing them. They're a year apart in age, and the kids are getting along really well every day, aren't they?
No, they're not getting along too well. They're very territorial. Everything is mine. Everything belongs to each one.
Territorial, maybe even a little competitive?
Quite competitive.
Was that hard for you as a mom to supervise or referee those fights?
It was hard if I raised my voice, but if I spoke softly and gave them the evil look, that sure helped.
Did that ever affect your health of having to yell at the kids?
Yes, that affected my health, all right. I think that it made me become more disciplinarian, stronger disciplined person.
Well, I would think you'd have to do that because if you didn't, there would be chaos. I mean, you can't really have the lunatics running the asylum, can you?
Well, let's put it this way. You can't have the children telling the parents what to do.
Did you ever lose your voice having to yell at the kids?
Oh, yes, I did.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, there was a period of time when we were living in Rochester, and I couldn't speak. And of course that was fine for you kids. You loved that part. So
score.
My eyes were sore from looking at you, so I decided to go to Mayo Clinic, and I had nodes on each side of my throat. And the doctor's advice was to be very quiet for at least 6 weeks.
That was heaven for us.
That was heaven for you children, and it was a blessing to me because all I had to do was carry a big stick and speak softly. What a wonderful way of discipline.
Oh yeah, that big stick would be kind of threatening. Were any of those kids willful in any way?
I would have to say that the 5th child, James, had a very strong mind of his own at a very, very early age.
Some things don't change, brother.
No, they sure don't.
So,
He knew what he wanted to do, and he did it.
was he different, or how was he different from the rest?
Well, I'd have to say that he didn't listen. He just did. He just went ahead and did what he wanted to do.
Like
He
what?
well, silly things like, I want this, I'll take that. That's my truck, that's my toy. Or I'm going to do what I want to do.
So he's so helpful in the kitchen now. Did he have any early childhood development going on in the kitchen?
Oh, certainly not. Yeah, he didn't, was not inclined to working in the kitchen. He was inclined to tearing things apart and then putting them back together
The way he wanted them.
the way he wanted them.
Perfect. Way to go, bro. So, now I understand that that you had to actually go to work at some point. Why did you have to go to work?
Well, one particular day, early one morning, I was busy putting breakfast on the table for the younger children, and I asked James to wait. I would take him out of his bed. He had the upper bunk, and I believe he was 2.5. And I'll wait, and I'll come and get you. I am going to jump now. Wait, I'll come get you. So he jumped. He didn't wait. And when I picked him up, both his legs were dangling, and I realized...
You must have been panicked.
Panic? I was totally horrified. His little legs just flopping, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
You pick up your little baby boy. He's the youngest, and he's broken.
His 2 little legs, and
Your heart must have sank. As a parent, I can't even imagine what was going through your mind at that moment.
It was, oh my God, what do I do? Tell me, Lord, what do I do?
Right.
No car, the car is gone. Your dad had taken her to work. Oh my word, what do I do? No telephone.
You know he's got to get to a hospital.
I've got to get him to a hospital.
You know he's that broken.
That broken.
What do?
I send one of the older children out to tell the neighbor to come over. Quick, quick, quick.
Go get a neighbor,
Go
quick.
get a neighbor. The neighbor came over and get me to a doctor, or else call
Get me to the
an ambulance.
hospital.
Get me to the hospital. And it was
And how are
winter.
you holding James? I mean, he's broken, so...
Well, I had to hold him by his little upper body, under the arms.
So you're holding him and he's just dangling. Oh
His
my
legs
gosh,
are
I
dangling.
can't even imagine.
It was horrifying.
Of course it is. So now you get him to the hospital, and they take your broken little boy off to a room, and what do you do?
Well,
Where are the rest of the kids?
We get him into the ER. I didn't even think about what I was going to do with the kids. Because
I got one broken. You guys take care of yourself.
No, I think the neighbor took care of him. I think it was such a scary moment, so I just knew I had to get him into a hospital.
Of course, everybody else, every man for himself, and woman.
I think the neighbor must have, I don't recall, but I think she just stayed there. I don't recall, but I think she stayed there.
Okay.
And when I got into the ER, the doctor questioned, why did he fall? How did he fall?
Well, of course, but we don't have.
That's right.
You're telling me that even then they think that there's something going on, like child abuse?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yes.
So now you've got to explain. You've got you got some explaining to do.
I think I was so panic struck. Get this child, please, please help this child. And I'm crying, and the doctor realizes, well, I've got to take care of the child, and then we'll question you later.
Thank God for that.
Yes. So they took care of him, put him in a body cast, lower body cast, and he would remain that way for almost 2 months in a body cast. And
So that must have cost a lot of money.
it cost quite a bit of money, yes, and we didn't have it. That's the interesting part. We didn't.
Well, you
have
didn't
it.
plan for it. I
No.
mean, who plans for a disaster, really?
Health insurance was prohibitively high, as it is today, so we didn't carry any, and
You didn't have any health insurance?
no health insurance.
Wow.
And I certainly wasn't going to. Well, let's put it this way: I didn't want help from the state.
So you sucked it up and said, I'm going to go to work.
I am going to go to work. So your dad worked days, and I'd work nights.
So Dad would work all day, come home, take care of kids, get them to bed so at least he could sleep. So
That's
you were
correct.
at night doing what?
Working at the hospital in the office, doing bookwork.
Oh my goodness. So
Yes.
you work in, so what time would you go to work and what time would you
I'd
come
leave
back?
at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, come back at 1 in the morning.
So Dad must have worried a whole lot, like how are you going to get to the car? Would you be mugged? Would you get home safely? Would you have a flat tire? Were those the kind of things that he worried about?
No, he worried because it was winter time. You might end up in a snowbank. There weren't many things to worry about with the winters, as severe as they are in North Dakota.
So there's always danger.
Black ice, and if you're coming home at 1 in the morning, there's sure to be black ice. Yes, it was several miles home. I think it was 7 miles home. So yes, he was very concerned.
So you get home and you're ready to just go to sleep.
I wish I could go to sleep. No, there were many chores to do before you had a chance to lay down. You had to get the breakfast things ready so that in the morning, when morning would come, I'd have breakfast on the table for the children, their foods. We always ate hot meals in the wintertime, so I have to cook oatmeal and toast for the children.
All right. So now you're doing all of this work, and the last bill, when the last payment's made on that on that doctor bill, did you go look for another job?
No, I did not. Your dad would not let me go to work.
He did not like the idea of you working at
no,
all outside the home.
No, he did not.
So at this point, you're still in North Dakota. You've had a couple of really cold winters. Do you guys have a light bulb moment at that time and say, we're out of here, we got to go to California?
Oh, yes, we talked about it many times. Your dad did not like California from his Navy days, thinking about when he was in the Navy.
Where was he stationed?
He was stationed towards San Francisco at Mare Island.
Okay. So what is there not to love about California? But it's not Montana, it's not North Dakota. Because who would go someplace and they don't know anyone?
I would.
You would?
I would go somewhere, and I'm sure you.
With 5 kids, no job, you would just go?
If I had enough money to get me to the bridge, yes, I'd find a way to get there. Yeah.
I think back on my youth, and I think, yeah, there's probably a lot of things I would think about today and maybe even give it a second thought. But, you know, when I was in my mid-20s, I didn't think about danger. I didn't think about elements like that. I think about adventure. So now you have got this mindset, we're going to go to California. Tell me what happens. In your youth, as you start to grow up and you start to leave your youth and leave your childhood and your memories behind you, you're building new memories of your own, and you're now raising your own children. You've got 4 of us. So do you hear your mom in any of your instructions to your children?
I believe in my day that it was understood that you better listen. You got eye looks, or you got, sometimes you get your ponytail.
Oh, wait. Everybody knows the look. Okay? Is that a natural thing to do as a kid, the monkey see, monkey do, or do you think that that's completely natural as a kid to do?
That's the first thing children learn. The first word they ever learn is no.
Were any of those kids willful in any way?
I would have to say that the 5th child, James, had a very strong mind of his own at a very, very early age.
So he's so helpful in the kitchen now. Did he have any early childhood development going on in the kitchen?
Oh, certainly not. Well, I'd have to say that he didn't listen. He just did. He just went ahead and did what he wanted to do.
Some things don't change, brother.
Yeah.
Because who would go someplace and they don't know anyone?
I would.
You would? We're out of here. We got to go to California.
Oh, yes, we talked about it many times.
What is there not to love about California? But it's not Montana, it's not North Dakota, and you don't have family there, right?
There's no family in California.
None at all?
Well, there was an uncle. I take that back. There was an uncle and an aunt, but they were in their they were in their late years already.
But at least you got somebody there in California.
Someone was there.
But, when I was in my mid-20s, I didn't think about danger. I didn't think about elements like that. I think about adventure.